Time for patch notes.
Holy shit, where are we?
Let's hope it's not too bad. Let's start. Champions. New. Renata Glasc. She is very broken, guys. If you want free low, I suggest you play this champion because it's a very good champion. I don't know if she's going to be permabanned or not. She probably is, but it is what it is. So, Aatrox. Q the Darkin Blade. Sweet spot damage from 150% to 160%. So I think this is actually a decent buff. So the reason I say it's a decent buff, it's because it buffs the part that is actually skilled about the champion, which is the sweet spot damage, basically. It's what separates good and bad Aatrox players, right? So I'm fine with them buffing this. The champion is also weak, so buffing it is absolutely fine. Now, bruiser items are still fucking broken, so I don't know how much he needed it. I think he did need a buff, but this is a lot of damage that he's getting in reality. You used to do around what? In the mid game, like early to mid game, you could do... Sorry. Upwards of 300 or 400 damage. So it's like 30 or 40 extra damage, which is actually pretty fucking good. Not gonna lie, it's a pretty big buff. Now, does this mean that Aatrox is now good in competitive play? No, but none of you are interested in competitive play because you're not part of competitive play. And maybe you see some Aatrox play in like LCK or like LPL, things like that, but nothing too major, I would think. What do you mean, capital D colon? Do you literally have a competitive team, or do you play competitively? It doesn't really affect you. Anyway, Amumu. Let's see. Physical damage reduction from 2 to 10 plus 3% bonus armor plus 3% bonus magic resist to 5 to 13 plus 3% bonus armor plus 3% bonus resist. This is actually pretty good. It's 3 flat. I like the fact that it's flat damage reduction and the things aren't changed. I think they did this because of the... Oh my god! Because of the 50% threshold thing. Let's see. Last patch nerf made our mummy a little too sad. His E passive damage reduction is now capped, so we can return some power to the ability by making the baseline stronger. Yes. So that's basically it. Yeah. So that's basically it. I think it's a pretty decent buff. It is gonna help with healthier clear actually in early jungling. It's also gonna help for early trades in something like top lane in the Urgot versus Amumu counter matchup, which is still a thing. Yeah, this I don't think this will make him played or anything. Maybe in support again, but I don't think people are gonna look at this and are gonna be like, yeah, time to play Amumu support again because I take less damage from minions. Nah, it's not really gonna be a thing. Anyway, Ashe, our arrow speed increased. Our enchanted crystal arrow missile speed from 1600 flat to 1500 plus 200 per second of travel time up to 2100. So I really like this change too. It does mean that in lane, when you are just normal R and stuff, it's going to be slightly harder to hit. You're not really going to feel it that much. But when you try to go for cross map arrows, it's going to be very, very fast. So yeah, it's already difficult to hit. So giving it this movement speed thing is like whatever. I like it. So, yeah. Blitzcrank, base health regen reduced. Base health regeneration from 8.5 to 7.5. This is gonna do nothing for the champion. Ashe top incoming. Ashe top is actually one of the most annoying lanes you can ever play, by the way. It's one of the most annoying lanes you can ever play as a melee champion. I wouldn't say it's good, but it's not like giga meme status, right? Is it lethality top Ashe? No, it's just literally any Ashe. Like when you go lane, like it's just whichever Ashe build you want. Because what's annoying about this is the lane, not when you get items. So you can just basically get any items. What's annoying about her is she has 600 range and a slow, which in top lane where you literally play like 90% melee champions is very fucking bullshit. It's very annoying. So yeah, Blitzcrank, 8.5 base health regeneration is on the upper end of health regeneration stats, and 7.5 is a bit above average. So I don't think this does that much. So yeah, if you're into a poke lane, you can go Guardian plus second wind revitalize anyway, and the tank support items already give you some regen, right? So this is not gonna be not gonna be the end of the world. Sorry for yawning that much. I am very sleepy. Hello, Pat. Indeed. Ha ha ha. He he he. Let's see. Mundo. Base stats. 80 growth from 4.2 to 3.5. 4.2 was a ridiculous number. 3.5 is more the baseline for other champions. So this is the thing. And our maximum dosage cooldown from 110 to 90 to 110 at all ranks. I don't think Mundo was that good. So I don't know why they're nerfing him that much. But whatever. I don't really care. I don't think this affects anything. I don't think this affects anything at all. In the spots where Mundo was good, you're still going to pick Mundo. So like, what spots do I mean by this? Into multiple enchanter comps where Mundo can just be allowed to build Visage and just roll over people with no consequence, then he's still gonna be good. And in comps where they have max health damage, well, in most other comps really, he's still gonna be bad. So yeah, if anybody wondered, I've talked about this. If anybody wonders how you beat the things that Cloud9 have been going with, like Ivern Sona and things like that, you have to take advantage of the fact that all of their damage comes from 1 or 2 sources at most, and you can go Mundo, and enchanters are not going to do any damage to you. They're not going to be able to stop you. You're going to be able to freely go to the ADC or the hyper carry or whoever you're targeting that game. You can bind Anathema's chains to them to take 30% reduced damage, etc, etc, etc. Mundo is actually one of the best champions at doing this because of his passive and whatnot. So yeah, where you used to go Mundo, you still go Mundo. Where you used to not go Mundo, you still don't go Mundo. That's literally it. Now let's see Illaoi. I'm actually excited about the Illaoi changes. Base stats, attack speed from 0.571 to 0.625. So if I'm not mistaken, this means that when she gets the attack speed shot, she's gonna get around 0.69 attack speed or something like that when with attack speed chart, which feels pretty fucking good and is very good for trading. Her base AD remains unchanged, which means that for those of you who don't know, Illaoi's base AD is like what, 68, 67, 68, 69, somewhere around that. It's very high, and this attack speed change is very, very big. Let's see the W change. Bonus physical damage from 3 to 5% plus 2 per 100 AD. To 3.5% plus 4 per 100 AD of the target maximum health. So this is actually very fucking big. The bonus of AD you get on max health is literally doubled. So on Illaoi, you basically you get around mid game, you have around 300 AD. So we're getting free 6% max health damage. That's actually fucking insane, no? That's a lot of fucking damage. This also helps with destroying the souls. You're gonna get an early spike when you hit 100 AD, and you get more more max health thingy. So that's fine. I really like these changes. I think they are like they're relevant to Illaoi's state right now, and they are gonna make him pretty viable. I think she was on the verge of being playable with the bruiser changes, with the bruiser item changes. Death Dance is incredible on Illaoi. The Sheen items, both Sunder giving more AD and Trinity giving more health, actually impacted Illaoi positively. Gore Drinker giving more AD also impacted Illaoi positively, so you have 3 options for Mythic now. Then you have things like Maw that helped her a lot. You have things like Ravenous Hydra, which she really likes to build. So I think that this might make Illaoi pretty good, actually, in the spots where she can be played. This patch is boring as fuck. No arcane champs that are getting touched. That's sad because I heckin' love arcane. True. Black Cleaver got buffed. That's also true. Black Cleaver got 30 CDR now. It gives 30 CDR now, so it's actually, well, CDR. I'd say CDR, it's ability haste, whatever. It's CDR. So yeah, let's see the bug. Bug fixes the bug where if Illaoi that red after pulling an enemy spirit with E, test of pit is nearby tangles will not attack the spirit. Thank you. Thank you. This is actually very big because one of the reasons, well, it's very common because when Illaoi is not really at the late game stage, or even at the late game stage, it sometimes happens, right? Where you're basically hanging by a thread a lot of the time, and you're like getting your HP down, then healing it back up, then getting it down, then healing it back up, with the tentacle slams and whatnot. So sometimes you would die, and then your E would stop working. And that felt super bad. So I really like that they fixed this bug. It was actually very relevant in a lot of the times. Actually very relevant. This is very relevant for when you're getting ganked as well. In ganks where you're usually gonna die unless you have R. Let's say or like even if you have R, it's possible that you die, right? So I think this is a very good change. And those two are also very good changes, and I think she might be pretty fucking good now. So yeah, let's see. Kalista. Oh, by the way, Darky, if you're watching this, you have to play Illaoi, because we might draft it if you're good at her and if you like her. So Kalista, base armor increased 21 to 24. Meh. Meh. This is gonna help her against like Caitlyn and things like that. Against the hard matchups. Against the easy matchups, it's not really gonna do anything. So, but I don't know, 3 armors, whatever. You know? Hey Darky, if you're watching this, don't know wall. Yeah. So the reason I say we might draft Illaoi is because Illaoi is Giga broken with Soraka. Whew. Illaoi Soraka is very fucking broken. It's very broken. So what I was telling you before about her hanging by a thread most of the fights, Illaoi likes the side lane. So then you have a global ultimate that is based on missing health. It just works very very well. It's very broken. And if you're team fighting, you can have very good setup with a Soraka around you. It basically makes it impossible for the enemy to walk into you. Now let's see. Lucian, Q mana cost decreased. Don't care. The champion's garbage. Like, yeah, two mana, then 4 mana. It's just shit. It's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's shit. Lucian's a very bad champion. He has. You're going into bot lane with 500 range. You're shit. Nami, E burns on hit damage reverted, so that's fine. Oh no! Both Lucian and Nami buffed? It's garbage. Just get level 2 before them, then the game's over. They cannot play. It's literally all you have to do. Neeko! Let's see. Base stats, gameplay, hitbox radius from 80 to 65. Apparently Neeko had like the biggest fucking hitbox in the game. So I think this is fine. This is actually going to help her a lot with dodging skill shots, which she needs. So yeah, Q Blooming Burst, additional bloom damage from 40 to 120 plus 20% AP to 40 to 140 plus 20% AP. So if you hit by an E, you're gonna get one shot faster, or like further one shot. I did not play this game in 2 years, but armor in ADCs is usually to survive auto attacks from ranged supports. No, it's to help with getting poked with. So yes, from range supports it matters, but it's more for the ADC matchups. So like against Caitlyn and stuff, where she is gonna be looking to poke you with autos, and since she has more range. So yeah. W shape splitter. From 2016 to 16 to 12, that doesn't really matter. The W active is pretty fucking bad, not gonna lie. Quality of life changes. When playing as Neeko, center your HUD. Your center will now always display your actual buffs rather than the buffs the ally you're disguised as if using passive. Inherent glamour. Sure, dude, whatever. Nunu and William. Pick Kalista into Varus, People G. Yeah, you do that. Let's see how it ends. Base stats, health growth from 82 to 76. That's very little health growth. That's very little health growth. Holy shit. Q consume healing from champion from 60 to 172 plus 72% AP plus 8% bonus health to 45 to 129. Yo, what? They're gutting Nunu. Oh, this is so useless. Oh, this is so useless now. It was already pretty fucking useless and competitive. Now it's just fucking garbage. Now it's just actively bad for you to take this champ. What the fuck? Why are they randomly shafting Nunu? I have no clue. I have no idea. Apparently he terrorizes D4. Yeah, he terrorizes solo queue, but come on, like this is so massive. Okay, Qiyana. Passive AD scaling decreased, but this champion's already bad, man. Everything terrorizes solo queue? Yeah, kinda. Like, Qiyana's also getting nerfed because she terrorizes solo queue, but the champion's fucking garbage. It's legit so bad. Unless you're like Beifang, or however you say his name, the Chinese guy. And Qiyana has a pressure. Yeah, AP Qiyana used to be a thing, if I remember correctly. And I think Qiyana should be AP rather than AD, but that's a whole nother issue. Rumble. Base armor increased. That's actually pretty fucking big. 5 armor from 31 to 36. That's actually pretty big. So I'm gonna tell you why. This is a buff for top lane where a lot of melee AD champions are played, and this gives him a lot of survivability. 36 base armor is actually very good. So now you're probably going to be fine just picking Rumble as a counterpick to things like Gangplank, which used to be alright for Gangplank, and a lot of people thought it was kind of skewed towards Rumble, right? And I was one of the people that thought that Gangplank was absolutely fine in the matchup, but with 5 extra armor based on Rumble and the armor growth being kept the same, I think it might skew the matchup. So I think Rumble, I don't know if Darky's watching, but might be worth a try in top lane. Like 5 armor is big. 5 armor is big. There are other roles this Rumble change helps him in. Well, yeah, jungle. Helps in jungle somewhat with the health, helps in mid against AD matchups, but anything else, you're only playing Rumble in those 3 positions, really. I think if you're playing Rumble in bot lane, you're trolling. Sett, health growth increase, health from 93 to 100. Dude, this has to be one of the highest health growths in the game, no? If not the highest. It has to be, I don't know. So not only does it, guys, keep in mind that his abilities scale with max health as well. So him getting that much health is pretty big. Now, I already think Sett is good as a counter pick or blind top laner. I think he's one of the best top laners to blind because his early power is so fucking huge. He can bully almost every matchup. Maybe Rumble's actually good into Sett now because of this 5 armor. Don't think so though. He can bully most matchups, and now he gets a bit of free scaling. Like, his scaling was never that bad. I think people underrate Sett's scaling. I think his base utility on his kit's pretty good. The damage is actually pretty good when you scale it up with like W and Gore Drinker and things like that when you go for them. I think Sett's actually pretty good. I don't even think he needed I don't think he needed buffs, but pretty good. Let's see what they said about Rumble, actually. Rumble is weak, especially in top lane. We're fortifying him to be more in line with other melee laners so he can get scrappier with his enemies. Yeah, so that's basically it. That's because his scaling on release was way lower. Well, I didn't know about that. When I started playing, Sett was already released, so... Let's see what they say. The Rift's number 2 map, whatever, has dropped in effectiveness and win rate a bit more than other fighters last patch, so we're giving it a small buff. What? Whatever. It's fine. I think Sett's underrated, actually. He had bigger base damage, less ratio. Okay. Makes sense. Veigar, base armor decreased, armor growth increased, cooldown increased early. Let's see. So, base armor -2. Nothing. Armor growth 75 to armor level. Whatever. This might as well not be in the game, by the way. Event Horizon from 18 to 12 to 20 to 12. This is the ability that you max second, and you do get some CDR in the form of Everfrost. His other items don't actually give him CDR, so they might be somewhat relevant, but you're maxing the second anyway. When you're getting to those items where you would want more CDR if you got it, you're already probably maxing E anyway, so the difference is not gonna be felt. Bug fixes. Fix Baleful Strikes still top to correctly state that last hitting enemy champions grants 1 stack of Phenomenal Evil, not 3. Sure. Yeah, he's still busted. He's still broken, so if you wanted to play Veigar before, you can still play Veigar. It's very broken. Xayah, E damage and based on crit chance increase. Crit chance damage multiplier deals 0.5% to 0.75% more damage for 1 critical strike chance. So this is actually big. I initially wrote it off as a pretty placebo buff, but it's actually a pretty big buff. So a lot of people are going the lethality Xayah build, right, with Airy and stuff. So now you can do the same build that you did with Graves and with MF, where you went Eclipse into, what do you call them? Into LDR Collector, and you had crit and lethality and percent pen, and then you would go for like Infinity Edge. So this might be worth a try. I don't know how good Xayah's gonna be, but I think it could be worth a try, to be honest. The lethality crit hybrid build. The problem I see Xayah having with that build is that she does need attack speed, and I don't know if she's gonna get enough. But if the numbers align, she might be pretty good. I don't know. You think this actually makes it good? I don't know. Depends on how much damage this equals. I feel like she's probably still just. I mean, she will always be just a counter pick, but currently without this buff, even in the spots where Xayah's good, you'd just rather have other ADCs. The problem that Xayah has as well is that Shield Bow exists, which kind of makes her whole champion irrelevant, because you can just build any hyper carry with Shield Bow and an enchanter beside them, and then they don't die. Like that makes Xayah R kind of useless, if that makes sense. She is a good counter pick into like Veigar. I will give you that, but that's about it, really. This is to make people stop building Eclipse on her. Wait, really? Well, it has the options if you know we're showing her pre-builds, but this doesn't make her stop building. This doesn't make her stop building Eclipse. This just shifts her Eclipse build into something more broken. I would believe this is true if they like reverted some of the AD ratios that they buffed a while back. I think this is just a pure buff and does nothing to step away from lethality. She's not a counter pick for Veigar. She's a... Well, you wouldn't go fucking Xayah mid, but if the enemy has Veigar and more engaged, you would go Xayah. Anyway. Zeri. That's a lot of changes. So, recently I changed my point of view about Zeri. She is actually pretty fucking broken, in my opinion. I used to think she was very bad just because her laning phase is so weak, and it is to an extent. But once she gets any items, it's just it's very oppressive. So let's see. Let's see what the changes are. Uncharged basic attack magic damage from 15 to 40 to 10 to 25, so that's a lot of scaling gone. Actually, that's pretty good. The AP ratio is also being nerfed. Damage increase from 300% to 500% of it. Excuse me? Excuse me, what? Oh, well, yeah, I have to take into account that it does less damage. Okay, that's true. That's true. It does less damage. It does less damage. I kind of panicked there for a second. Charged basic attack. Oh, this is the uncharged basic attack. This is the charged basic attack. Okay. Slow from 20 to 40% to 14 to 50% based on Q rank. Ooh. So it actually scales better. And slow duration from 1.5 seconds to 1 second. I'm actually happy with that. I'm fine with her slowing less. I think this should overall be nerfs, if I'm not mistaken. This is what they're aiming at. Q burst fire damage from 10 to 30 plus 110% AD to 9 to 25 plus 110% AD, so damage down. Burst fire's critical strikes now also multiplies base damage in addition to say. But like, isn't this broken? Excess attack speed to AD conversions 50 for 60 for... Isn't this broken though if you just build crit? I think they're trying to get her away from the Triforce build, right? Where she was tanky as shit and you couldn't kill her. But now this just means that she's gonna do more damage. Doesn't it? Isn't this like a giga fucking buff? Let's see. W Ultra Shock Laser slow from 50 to 70%, 30 to 70%. This is absolutely fine because this is the ability to max last. Cooldown from 10 seconds to, at all ranks to 13 to 9. This is fine because this is the ability to max last. I'm fine with her having less of a slow, like a less potent slow and having it less often. I'm fine with that. E Spark Surge 23 to 17 seconds to 23 to 19 seconds. So they want to make you max W second, but I doubt you will. Cooldown reduction from over 5 seconds to 1 second per champion hit with charged basic attacks or abilities. Doesn't this make it more important for you to max E seconds since you need the cooldown reduction? Am I wrong, Arenos? Am I missing something? I think the max order is still the same. I think it's QEW still. Let's see. R, Lightning Crash. Bonus attack speed from 30 to 40% to 30% of all ranks. I actually really like this. Let's see. Bug fixes. Q burst fire crits will no longer trigger no cooldown effect to reduce the cooldown of Q. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Tear the Goddess now correctly treats Q burst fire as a basic attack will no longer grant stacks when it is cast. There is right click basic attack will continue to be treated as a spell and will trigger tier stacks. Okay, so that's absolutely fine. I don't know who the fuck went Navoris or or tier on her, but sure. And it worse ability has one Triforce still. This is true, but it also I think the build that they want her to go is like Essence River, right? So like this is a big buff to Essence River as well because it gives CDR. So I think with these changes, I don't think she's got it at all. If they were trying to gut her, I don't think this is it. I think she's actually pretty fucking buffed when you take into account the crit changes. I think now you're just forced away from Triforce and that tanky build to more of a like Gale Force Runans, Essence Reaver type of build. People will figure it out. Wouldn't you go Black Cleaver? Not with this crit changes. You used to. But I don't think so with these changes. Maybe, I don't know. I think she's still gonna scale super well. She honestly might have the same build path as Jinx actually. She might have the same build path as Jinx. So she might be just those Gale Force, Runan / PD into Infinity Edge. She might just be a Jinx kind of situation. But I think she's still good. I don't know if she can jungle now, though. I would have to see. I think this probably... Yeah, I think this probably actually kills her in the jungle, if I'm not mistaken. I guess somebody's gonna make the clear guide or whatever, but I think this kind of kills her in the jungle. But I think she's still really good in solo lanes. So she's still good top, she's still good mid, she's still good ADC. So I think the champion's still good. So items, ally item pinks now available. You can now display your ally's item cooldown and charging in game by putting type of score. Okay, that's fine. Rejuvenation bead. Total cost from 150 to 300, base health regeneration from 50 to 100, and sellback ratio 70%. It was an interesting strategy, man. It was an interesting strategy, man. I feel so bad for this. It was an interesting strategy, and now you just... whatever, man. I don't like this. Feels like GP change. Triforce Hydro GP improved despite converting ratio into second build. Oh, but I don't think she's like GP actually, because she needs attack speed. What's strong about that GP build is that you can just go full crit with full pen and just go. But I think she needs crit attack speed items. Like she needs Zeal. Well, she doesn't need Zeal, but she loves Zeal. She kind of needs Zeal, but yeah. I really dislike these changes, man. Crystal Embracer, total cost increased by 150 basically. And you whatever. Knight's Vow, combined cost 700 to 400 gold. Total cost unchanged. Whatever. And base health regeneration, whatever. Warmogs, combined cost 650 to 500. Total cost unchanged. Whatever, man. I don't like this. All you need to do is nerf this. Like, nerf this, keep everything else the same. That's it. No longer triple beads. Woo! Except very specific champions. Whatever. It's whatever. I don't care. Systems. Let's see. Support gold income items. Spellthief's Edge, Relic Shield, Steel Shoulder Guards, and Spectral Sickle. Let's see. Gold value bounties are now based on the number of support gold income items on each team, rather than assuming each team has one gold support income item. Whatever. Enemy gold leads are now significantly less likely to lead to objective bounties activating if there are 2 or more support gold income items on your team. Receive diminishing gold from excessive 4 minions per minute to 2 minions per minute until 5 minutes, 4 minions per minute thereafter. This is fine. What I don't like about this is that this strategy already had counterplay, and you don't allow for counterplay to develop. Like, you don't allow for normal evolution of the game. You just root it out. This is what I don't like about the philosophy behind this change. Is what I don't like. The change is fine, but I don't like the philosophy behind making this change at all. because you should know how to deal. Like, eventually, people would realize that, oh wait, I'm not laning against anyone. The enchantment does no damage. I can go Hullbreaker and end them, right? It's just not having. It's not having a fed top laner into then team fighting. It's forcing them to team fight into you, so your team can get objectives, and then that way, the strategy is rendered useless, right? So, I don't think this needed to happen. I think the counterplay was clear to people who had a brain. Yeah, I don't like that they changed it. I think this is like a new interesting strategy comes up, however bullshit it might be and however toxic it might be or you think it is, and then you just root it out instantly. Like, I don't like that approach. I like for things to develop over time and people to find their own answers to this. So, like, for example, in Overwatch, we got like one patch a year. We got one patch a year, but the meta still changed. Because people would discover like new things all the time. So when we had goats for like a year and a half or 2 years, the early variations of goats were very different from the late variations of goats. If that makes sense. So early variations of goats was always the same, right? And you used to have like a Moira all the time to provide with AoE healing. Then a bit later it was discovered that it's actually, you don't actually need the Moira, you just go Zen for more damage, right? That was discovered. Then it just discovered that you don't actually need the Reinhardt, you can go goats with Winston, and that somehow offsets the low mobility of the comp, right? So, and by the end of goats, the counter was found. It just was insanely hard to execute. Shanghai Dragons actually pulled this out with, they went Pharah Mercy triple DPS with Ball solo tank. So suddenly you had this comp that wanted to stick together and had to stick together, but it was just being torn apart by multiple different long range threats, right? You had 3 DPS with Pharah Mercy, with you had Pharah, you had Widowmaker, and then you had like, I think it was Tracer? No, was it Tracer? Or was it like a... Who was it? Anyway, you had triple DPS threat with 2 long range ones and then an assassin or something, right? And that comp completely destroyed Ghosts. Was it Soldier? It could have been Soldier, I don't remember. So that comp completely destroyed Goats, but earlier it had been tried before, but it failed because people were not executing it cleanly enough. Like when people went for this comp, which was very difficult to execute, like the ball would get destroyed, or you would just engage on the other support that wasn't Mercy, and you would just run them over or stuff like that. Then the Shanghai Dragons come over, and they just fucking perfect the shit out of this. They perfect the shit out of that strat, and then they fucking win the stage. And it was so fucking cool to watch. Which is why I don't like this. Overwatch isn't even a patchless game. Like, there were minor nerfs to goats, which ultimately led to that, but I don't think without the nerfs it would have been any different. But yeah, I don't like the fact that everything like this has changed. Let's see, objective bounties. Bounty linger period from 15 seconds to 5 seconds. The objective bounties fall off, that's fine. ARAM, I don't care. Ionia Cup Clash. The 2022 Clash season begins. Team formation for whatever. So yeah, this weekend there's Clash. I don't care. Behavioral systems. Intentional feeding detection. New system, whatever. It's not going to do anything. Personalization. Summoner icons. You can now sort and search each summoner icon when selecting one to display. Summoner icons now display informational tooltips when you hover over them. I don't give a shit. Bug fixes. Senna R. Don't you know which direction if Castle was hovering over challenge champion. This actually happened with other champions as well. This happened with other champions as well. It happens when you TP I don't remember the champion. When you TP or you use the Hex Gates on some champions, one skill shot that's supposed to go to your cursor goes the exact opposite way. I think it happens on Ezreal when you TP and some other people. It's if you instantly cast, but yeah. It goes the exact opposite direction of where you're casting. Skin, Pog, and Firelight Echo. Wait. Firelight Echo from Arcane? I fucking love Arcane. Anyway. Brave Phoenix Xayah Prestige Edition. That's actually a cool skin. Yeah, I can love Arcane. Holy shit. Most of it's irrelevant, but there's a couple of changes that are pretty good. So yeah. I think it's time to say goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. Anyway. I can love Arcane. Anyway. See ya, people. This has been the Patch Notes Rundown.